What's going on, everybody? Goofy Rexy. Hope you guys are all doing well. We're here yet again for another installment. The Goofy Thorn, whatever. All right, we're here again for another collab this week. Hope you guys are all doing well. Thorn, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
Hey, man, I've had a great week, and I'm glad to be back here doing another video with you yet again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So a lot going on. Today is patch day. So some exciting things. Level 80 cap. We got Stature. We got some ISO 8 icons. We got some gear tier 14 and materials and 15 materials we see here in the store. But first and foremost, let's just pause here for a second and just look at this image right over here. What does that mean? Is she coming into the game? Is Yelena coming into the game? Are we gonna have to wait to find out? Are we gonna have to wait until Black Widow comes out? Listen. I don't know, but we'll pause and we'll leave it there. This kind of got leaked today. I don't necessarily know exactly what this might mean, but if it means that she's gonna eventually come into the game, cool. I'm assuming that Red Guardian was leaked earlier, right? At some point
he was leaked earlier this year, so.
So maybe they're kind of completing the view here for us, by leaking that into the data mines. But this was in the data mines, y'all. All right, so big patch, today. A lot of things came in. The first thing that we can probably touch on is the big one that people have been waiting for, which is the level 80 cap. So, kind of some concerns for me where that is concerned, but I'll let you take that first, Thorn. What are your thoughts on the level 80, aspect, that kind of being now present in the game? What are kind of your thoughts? Have you even wrapped your mind around level 80 yet?
Everyone's pretty much still 75. Getting to level 80 it's going to be a long slog. We knew it was coming. Yeah. With the Gear 15 Dark Dimension 4 news that we've had for some time, but now we're here. Now we're on the journey, so to speak. But it's going to be a long journey. I think someone did a calculation. It's going to take at least 6 months for the majority of us to get close to level 80. Right. But I guess my initial concerns with that journey, so to speak, is the gold crunch and the training mat crunch that's going to come with it. And unless they increase our current income for the amount of gold we earn and the training mats we earn, it's going to be a long and hard journey ahead, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, well, the thing is, there was already a gold crunch, right? That's already been an issue. We've had a lot of milestones over the past, few months. Symbiote Spider-Man. Obviously we've had, a trail of just new characters coming into the game one by one. Which of course you're using a lot of gold to level up those characters to get them to 71, whatever. Even if you're early mid game, whatever, you're still trying to get those characters and level them up, right? So the gold is still an issue. The gold has always been an issue, and now you're introducing this new level cap, which obviously, right, like you're gonna still need experience points. You're still gonna need, to be able to even get a character to level 76, to have that as an option. But ultimately, still, you're gonna have to deal with the gold to be able to take that character up. And I think, so right now, to go from 71 to 75 is about 1.6 million gold. So what do you think it's gonna cost to go from 75 to 80?
I mean, who knows? But like it can only go up from there, right? So if it costs 1.76 or whatever it is to go from 74 to 75, the next level is going to be around 2 million, I would say. Yeah. So we're probably looking at double the gold just to get to 80 all up. So it's interesting, especially when we're only getting 160k from each gold orb. Well, at least I am.
Yes. The 160K, baby. Yes, that is all we need. No, it's not. Like it's not even enough to level up. Like for this, at this point, just to go from 70 to 71 is 385 gold, I think, or 385,000 gold. That's not even enough to get a character one level up. Yeah, it's honestly ridiculous. They got to find some way to increase our gold availability. You know, like we really got to find some way to kind of make that more of an option for us, especially, and also like training mats. I mean, Jesus, I mean, nice of them to give training mats in the anti-venom, anti-venom event, but I mean, realistically, I mean, how quickly do those go for me? I mean, I'm trying to level up my Emma right now to get her to gear tier 14. I mean, realistically, that those training mats are gone. I'm gone already, and actually we could jump over into game real quick, because I actually wanted to show this. So when I took a look at this right here, so obviously we talked about the black bolt not black bolt, but we talked about the leveling aspect. When I looked at my black bolt, and just to go from 71 to 75, I'm looking at looking at all of these training mats that I'm going to use in order to be able to do that, right? 2,824 for green, 504 for blue, and then purple, 15 of those. The purple ones, you can't even get them anywhere other than through the challenges. That's really it. Like, that's the only place that you can get the purple ones. And the gold ones, you can only get those through orbs. So are they got to find some way to make sure that we can actually get some more purples and then get some more golds, so that we can kind of lessen the blow a little bit. Otherwise, we're just going to all blow through training mats trying to get all of an entire 16 characters at least to Dark Dimension 4.
Yeah. Like, I don't know what the new nodes are like. I haven't checked the new campaign nodes, but
yeah,
the amount of training mats that we get, even in the villain chapter 7s and the Nexus, it's the same amount of training mats we get from when you first start playing the game. Like these are harder nodes that we're completing, and we're still getting the same amount of training mats as if we were as a beginner kind of thing, or an early game player. So that would be one thing I would, probably like them to change, is the late game campaign nodes should earn you more training mats. It just makes sense that it should.
No, it would. Of course. Of course, we're asking them to do things that make sense, which also probably we should probably already have our answer where that is concerned. But I mean, and another thing too to keep in mind is gear crunch, right? So we have, we'll talk a little bit about this later. Stature is now in the game. We've seen the other characters being in the game. So Yellow Jacket, Ghost, at least we've seen their silhouettes. We've seen them, their form, in game on our roster here at the very bottom, because we haven't unlocked them yet. Unless you bought Stature, then you've unlocked. But the thing is, like, gear crunch is going to be an issue. We've started to see some materials already. We got some gear tier 15 materials. I actually was able to pick one in the war store for my symbiote. So that's already in there. But gear is going to be an issue too, right? Because it's not just 80, it's also getting from 14 to 15. I wonder how much more available, because I haven't gone through Doom Chapter 2 yet. I know you already have gone through it. What's the gear like that you're getting from that Chapter 2? Is it more mini uniques, or I guess I could take a look at it now too, right? Yeah,
so it's pretty much similar to Chapter 1 in the sense that there's the usual orange mats mixed in with some of the mini uniques that we didn't get in Chapter 1.
Yeah.
So it's nothing. There's none of the Gear 15 mini uniques, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So currently those we can only get from stores
or orbs, right? I think they said that you can get those from orbs, like the war store.
Yes. Yeah, so the War Store, if you wanted to have a look, there's now a new orange matte gear orb in the War Store. So they called it Gear 1 and 2 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the second one, so that one's the one that we've been
always
used
had.
to.
Yep.
Yeah, always had. And the second one has on the side pillars, it's got these new pieces now.
So I know these two right here are for for bio, right?
Yeah, they're the bio pieces.
The bio pieces. These are mutant pieces.
That looks one as well.
Okay, this is Mystic. For Mystic. And these are for, I don't know.
Those are skill.
Okay.
Yep. And then the last one's a tech.
Tech. Okay. And my God, you need like 70 of these pieces each, right? In order to be able to take a character up to 15. I mean, good luck. So pretty much basically, if you're in the position where you're trying to get into Dark Dimension 4 now, you're pretty much essentially using all of as much of your war credits as you can to try to open up these orbs, or you're trying to buy them individually in the store when they pop up. And I mean, I would definitely encourage everyone, if you can, spare them to at least try to start purchasing some of this gear early, especially with the scarcity mechanism. If you don't purchase them, I think they don't drop or show up as much as you need them to. So you're almost at the mercy of them just to try to make sure that you're grabbing all of this particular gear every single time, when this is popping up in the store.
Yeah, I mean, bear in mind, like as I mentioned earlier, it's going to take us months to even get a character or two to level 80 once we hit the level cap.
Yeah.
So yeah, every time for the next 6 months, every time you see them in store, that's what I'm doing. I'm just going to pick up whatever I can and hope for the best.
Yeah. Are you going to be prioritizing, like skill characters for the most part, right? You don't really kind of level a lot of them up. Are you kind of just going to be ignoring the skill ones, or are you still going to try to see just as long as if they show up and you have it, you're going to try to grab them? Or you're going to try to target, I'm going to go bio first, or I'm going to go this first? Like, what are kind of your thoughts there?
Well, I think if I see it, I'm going to get it is going to be my main thought. But
yeah,
if I have to choose, like if I've run out of, say, war credits and there's a skill piece there and there's a bio piece there, I'm more than likely going to get the bio piece based on, I guess, the current kind of characters we have. The bio is probably much better than any of the skill characters that we currently have.
Yeah.
But who knows? Like the reason why I'm just going to get anything is, who knows, in the future they might bring out a OP skill character that we will need in Dark Dimension 3, and then in which case, it would have been nice to get all those skills ones that I saw along the way.
Yeah, you're right. TM might be a really big DB4 character. Who knows? Well, he's global, right? Yeah. So you probably won't need him.
Yeah, he's global.
So you probably won't need him. But those might.
Maybe
there's other characters than the Pymp Tech Team that you can use. Yeah, I said Pymp.
It's the same with the bio for the symbiotes. It's all well and good saying let's get 5 symbiotes in there, but we have 5 times the amount of mini, the Gear 15 bio gears. We're gonna get that 5 times, and
alien spores. Good luck.
Yeah. Oh god, alien spores. So, I think the best team would be using a full symbiotes or using a full Pym Tech, but the more realistic team maybe using 3 of each and 2 from somewhere else kind of thing. Who knows?
Yeah, I've been thinking about that, too. Like, what are the options that are really available to be able to do it? Kind of difficult to process. Like I said, I think, obviously there's a lot of things going on that we have to think about. Obviously, a lot of these things are going to take time because we haven't gotten to level 80 yet. That's going to take some time. You also haven't, the gear is not available, not fully available yet. You still are going to be dependent on RNG a lot to be able to get that gear. So I mean, that might help us a little bit with the training mats and the gold, but still, I think they're going to need to figure out a way for us to be able to get more, which I doubt that they will. So we'll have to just keep on kind of trucking along, as things go here. But to cover some other topics, so we got Stature, too, as well. So we saw this tag. We'll go over to the event in a little bit. We saw the tag, which was the aspiring tag. For some reason, I kept on calling it aspirin. I don't know why. I was just reading aspirin.
Well, I think aspirin. A lot of us will need an aspirin after this update. So.
For sure. But yeah, I mean, so the options that you have available, they're kind of like some weird options in my personal opinion. Yeah, you got Anti-Venom, new character. You got Scream, Crystal. I mean, maybe for me, it's just I don't have a lot of these characters built up. And I think it's like a weird combination of characters that you have available to kind of do this event. Like, is it just me that feels that way?
No, I had a look at it, and there was a few good characters in there, but there's no, I guess, full synergy team or team that you could go, oh, okay, this would go real well together. It may be a case of just chucking in your 5 best and hoping for the best, I guess. But I haven't been too concerned because most of these campaign events in general have been quite easy. Yeah, which is a good thing.
No, it definitely is.
It doesn't change at all.
It definitely is. I mean, unfortunately, I think a lot of people are going to have to core to make sure that they try to get as many shards for Stature, because I feel like my feeling, and I think a lot of players, they feel the same way, is that this Pymp Tech Team, and I'm going to tell you why I keep on calling them the Pymp Tech Team, by the way, guys. The reason why I call them the Pymp Tech Team is because they're pimping us out when it comes to this team. They're trying to force us to go all in on this team for Dark Dimension 4, all the gear that you're going to have to get for this team. So in my personal opinion, they are the Pymp Tech Team because they're pimping us out. That's what they're doing. They're pimping us out, forcing us to buy all these new characters. They're pimping us out, y'all. So for this Pymp Tech Team, I feel as if though you're going to have to use them in order to be able to get some legendary. I don't know which one, but I feel like it's just going to be a team that you're going to have to use in order to be able to get some legendary in the game.
Yeah, I mean, like it's better to be safe than sorry, I guess, in that regards, and it basically follows their formula that they've done with the past few, where it's 3 new characters with 2 existing ones. They did that with X-Force, so I wouldn't be surprised. I'd say there's a high chance that they will be required for a legendary.
Yeah,
or at least a couple of them if they do one of those funky trait ones like they did for Phoenix.
Yeah. Now, what are your thoughts? I personally think that they're releasing way too many characters in the game. Way too many characters in the game too fast, in my personal opinion. I don't want to complain about it because obviously that was our biggest complaint, many months ago, was we're not getting characters in the game quick enough. But now they're just doing it too fast. It's like I feel like we're getting one every 2 weeks. Like that's what I feel like is happening at this point. Like one every 2 weeks. It's hard to keep up, and then to go back on gold again, Emma, Symbiote Spider-Man, new characters, more gold being spent, not enough gold being replenished. I mean, how in the world are we supposed to be able to keep up with this? With the frequency of how they're releasing these characters? I mean, what the heck?
Yeah, I'm just glad that She-Hulk wasn't, that necessary, because she's still level 1 for me, and she's probably going to be like that for a while. So I'm just glad for that. But yeah, otherwise, the frequency of characters that we're getting is a bit stressful, so to speak. Yeah, I mean, I guess the other side is what we had, a year or whatever ago, where we didn't get as many characters, so people were complaining about that. But this definitely feels like it's starting to go the other way.
Yeah.
So hopefully they find a good middle ground.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, I feel like they have not found the middle ground. They've just said, okay, well, you're complaining about characters, so we're going to release them every time now, as opposed to kind of giving us a little bit of I feel like for a lot of players, especially for someone like myself who is very much, I've said it already, I'm cheap to play, right? I buy the cheap offers. I don't buy every character. There's some characters that I do buy, but I try not to spend a lot of money in the game. I try to progress in other ways. I feel like for me, it's just becoming a little bit too much. I can't personally keep up. So I've decided to just level up characters when I can, and if I get a legendary, I get a legendary. If I don't get the legendary, then whatever, I'll try for next pass. So that's my perspective as a cheap to play player, but also as a mid game player too, mid to early late game player too. I got to make a decision as to, well, all right, I just can't level up these characters now. I gotta focus on what I was already focusing on. I know that you're in a different boat as a late game player, though.
Yeah, well, I think being a late game player, especially having most of my characters maxed out or near maxed out, I guess I can afford to farm for the next and upcoming characters, which is what I've been kind of doing for the past many months, which is a good place to be. But even when I was starting out, getting legendaries on their first run was quite rare. I got most legendaries on their second run. Some of them I even got on the third run. It's just one of those things that you got to just go, okay, well, can I get there reasonably or not? And you make the call. But also back then we didn't have Alliance War. I think Alliance War has put a lot of pressure on players to get characters as quickly as possible, because you're using your full roster against another alliance, and if they release a meta character, then you need, or a meta team, you need another one to counter them. So I think that's kind of brought in a lot more pressure for newer players to try to get characters first go. But yeah, I think that's an alliance situation where you just got to make the call and go, look, we're all not going to get so-and-so first run, and that's fine, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely kind of where I'm at. I'm in an alliance that we're all, for the most part, with respect to maybe two of our players, that don't spend a lot. And, we kind of just say, okay, well, if you get this character, you get that, whatever. Like, we don't put pressure on anyone to get any characters, which I know that might not be the case for every alliance. So it's just when you're playing the game the way that we're playing the game, we got to make those decisions. So, I think Doc Ock, only maybe 3 or 4 of us got Doc Ock, so it's one of those things where, and typically for the most part was our higher TCP guys, our guys that were in the 5+ range, that got Doc Ock. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking at second pass. I guess got to make the decision that, okay, I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to go that hard. I'll try to make sure that I get the character stars, but in terms of leveling them up, not until I kind of get around to them, basically.
Yeah. And that's how I've treated, say, She-Hulk, for instance. I've got the stars for forever, whatever reason I'm going to need her in the future for anything, but at the moment she's at level 1.
Yeah.
Because getting the stars is always a hard bit.
Right.
So I'd always recommend blitzing as much as you can, or doing the campaign events as much as you can. You don't have to level the character up, but get the stars.
Yeah, definitely get the stars. You never know exactly what, the character, if you might need them for something later. So definitely get the stars, on the characters as you can. All right, we'll jumping back to the aspiring test. So this is the roster these are some of the characters that you can use in order to be able to get through it. Probably won't really be that hard. The other subject, I guess, is with the Pym Tech Team, as I call them.
It's a great name.
It's a fantastic name for him.
It's fitting. Yeah.
Very much so. With the Pymp Tech Team, just kind of figuring out, okay, so Stature is an event campaign what do we think Ghost and Yellow Jacket are going to be? Do we think maybe Milestone for one of them, and then maybe potentially Blitz? Like, what are we thinking for those two characters?
It's probably too soon for milestones, because usually they do 3 milestone events per character, and I think Emma has only had the 2, right? So we haven't had the 3rd coming for Emma.
Yeah.
But who knows? They might just end it at 2.
I thought they were only doing 2 for some reason. I feel like that was what was said earlier. I don't know why I feel that way, but I feel like that's kind of what it was.
Yeah, I think they made a comment which could have been read either way, whether that this was her last one, or whether she's coming back. It's one of those ambiguous stuff that they always send out.
Right.
But even so, I think I wouldn't put it past them to do another milestone, but I would say it's probably too soon. Like the data mine suggested Blitz for both those characters, but at the same time, they do that with many characters where they just have a Blitz in the files for a particular character, and then they'll divert from that later.
Yeah.
But my gut feeling would be a campaign being Stature and 2 Blitz for both Ghost and Yellow Jacket.
Yeah, that was I feel like they're gonna make Ghost a Blitz, release. Yeah. So which is almost gonna force you, if you are willing to spend to buy the character, because otherwise you're not gonna, I think I've already kind of processed in my mind, okay, well maybe I don't spend any more in the game right now, and then wait until Ghost comes around so that I can make sure that I at least unlock her, and then potentially get her to 4 stars at least, with the potential to get her to 5 for whatever legendary they might be forcing us to get with those characters. So I mean, I feel like Yellow Jacket is going to probably be a 2 character, a Blitz too. I just have a feeling that they're only going to do an event campaign for Stature. I don't know why, but that's just kind of what you're saying is definitely kind of what I'm thinking too as well when it comes to that team. But some other things to cover here. We got some new looking ISO color coordination, from them. So I guess we've gotten, well, this is supposed to be red. He's not a brawler. He's a brawler, right? No, he's not a brawler.
No, he's a support
character. So support is yellow, or support is, no, I'm lying. I'm wrong.
The controller is yellow.
Controller is yellow. I forgot what support is. I think
support's a green plus kind of.
Yeah, support is green plus, and then I think Brawler's red, Protector I believe is blue. I mean it's fine, right? I mean it gives some differentiation to it. I guess we can notice it more.
Previously to that, it was like a muted white color. And it was very muted as well, so it didn't really pop. So when you're farming, or if you are buying from the ISO store, which I wouldn't recommend because of the ion cost, at first glance it was hard to tell what you were getting.
Right.
So now it's a bit more noticeable. So it's a little kind of change.
it's a welcome change, and it really necessarily fully need it. But I mean, I'm kind of glad sort of that it's here, too as well. But I'm not like overjoyed by it. I'm just like, oh, it's cool. It's cool that it's there.
It's a nice little change, but it's not gonna, in the grand scheme of things, it's not gonna.
It's not
changing anything. Yeah,
absolutely not. All right, so I think for the most part that might be it. In terms of things that we should cover here. I mean, there's one kind of cool thing that we should mention, which is the ISO. Sort of, they made a decision today, or they brought it out. I'm gonna see if I can find it here. So ISO updates. the striker and the skirmisher bonus interaction. So currently there's an interaction where you have a character with a striker class, call a skirmisher for an assist. The striker will immediately follow up with their bonus attack. This was not intended this was not an intended interaction. So this is the big one here, intended interaction, but has led to some interesting theory crafting. So for now, let's highlight. For now, we will not fix it. However, we will continue to monitor the class diversity and theory crafting. I just want to highlight theory crafting because I believe that this is not entirely true. In ISO weight, and if this interaction is becoming so dominant that it deters versatility, we may change it in the future. A few things that I wanted to highlight there.
Yeah.
Was not as intended. They actually admitted that it wasn't intended. I actually appreciate that a little bit.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah.
Appreciate it that they did say that. And then this one right here, for now. For now, which ties into
the last bit.
We'll talk about theory crafting a little bit later, but the terms versatility. What versatility? Can somebody please explain to me what versatility we're talking about here?
Unless they're worried about the striker skirmisher combination being the preferred ISO traits that people choose, and that kind of like dominates teams, then I think that's probably the versatility they're talking about. But in general, I haven't seen the striker skirmisher being the preferred option for a lot of teams. It's only like a select few where the striker skirmisher comes into play.
Young Avengers, Fantastic Four, Black Order, with Corvus and Proxima. I mean, that's really kind of the only ones that I could really think off the top of my head.
There's a couple of others like Emma Frost and Sabretooth.
Yep.
Yeah, and the whole Young Avengers team, I should say. But yeah, otherwise it's not like it's dominating the ISO scene. There are still a lot of raiders out there, a lot of of the other classes. So I wouldn't say it's broken. It's just a nice kind of interaction that happens. But they do say for now, and we may change it in the future. But my thought is if they were going to change it, they would have to do it now. Right. The longer they leave it, the more people that end up, spending ions upgrading to striker skirmisher, and then if they ever change it, there's going to be a big uproar. So it's better to change it sooner rather than later.
Absolutely. And the theory crafting aspect of it really kind of upsets me too as well, because there's really not much theory crafting past level 1. Once you get past level 1, the theory crafting for me ends, because you're gonna have to spend ions in order to be able to bring up whatever class you switch it to that same level. So the theory crafting aspect of it, it's sort of kind of a lie, but I'm gonna leave it at that. But I think we for the most part covered everything today. I don't know if there's anything I'm missing, Thorn.
No. While we're on ISO changes, I think the other big thing from that patch notes was, for me at least, that I kind of liked was the skirmisher now applies vulnerable on counters. I think that's a few
big. Yeah, it's big.
A couple of paragraphs above where we are now. But yeah, that's probably the only other change that I was good to see that they made that change. But otherwise, I think we've covered pretty much all the big points on this update. It is a big update. More in terms of time. Like a lot of small things in words, but big in terms of what it means for us moving forward.
Yeah, we try to cover the biggest ones, and as opposed to covering everything. Because I mean, honestly, if we decided to cover everything, this is an hour video, so that would be an hour video. So we just don't want to do that. So these are the biggest things. Obviously, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Thorn, brother, again, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be able to do these with you. I'll make sure that all links are down below for Thorn once again. And obviously, guys, thank you so much, and be blessed and be safe.
See you later.